up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you were Tisa Tells, this is our Super Bowl. You guys, Diddy, maybe he is done. You can cook. Diddy is done. Diddy is cooked. When I tell you the fact that yes, there are summary arguments going on with the prosecution. Yes, some people do think that they are a tad bit boring, but also yes, this is how Diddy goes down, one brick at a time, y'all. Oh, what a time to be alive. Y'all, Diddy has no defense. And the feds have finally called his bluff. Now, I know there are a lot of people that want to be like, you don't understand. Diddy's playing chess, right? The prosecution is playing checkers. They are not playing checkers. Diddy is not playing chess. The prosecution has molly-whopped Diddy out of it. It is done. And you know who actually did Diddy in? Do you know who did Diddy in? Because here's the thing. They're focusing a lot about summary witnesses. And they're focusing a lot on messages. And Diddy's team is reading out messages where Jane might have wanted it, when Jane was planning freak-offs. We can argue about whether that evidence is real or not. But the one thing we can't argue about is, what about Cassie? What about Cassie? Again, I ask you, what about Cassie? Cassie did Diddy in, but there was a few special witnesses. Deontay Nash did Diddy in. Capricorn Clark did Diddy in, baby. That was Shakespearean. Between Deontay Nash co-signing everything that Cassie said, even when she didn't want to go, even when they had to jump, Cassie's friend Carrie, even when they had to jump on, and honestly, Mia too. People drag me as testimony, but now that I see how much Diddy's team fought to exclude evidence to make Mia look like she's crazy, right? To make her seem like she's crazy, I feel for Mia too, because Mia wasn't a liar. The same way they tried to make Bona look like she was a liar, even though it actually happened. Mia was telling the truth, but a lot of evidence got excluded. But everyone between Mia, between Bona, between Deontay, Dawn Richards, they all added something to the story. Eddie Garcia. But I will say one thing. I think Capricorn Clark was the most damning witness because she got Diddy. It was, you got hit 3 birds with 1 stone. The kidnapping, the bribery, right? Not the bribery, the kidnapping, the arson, the holding at gunpoint, the RICO, the way everybody moved as one to help him with his goal of keeping Cassie as a slave. When she testified that he would not release her and said, you better call Cassie and tell her to trade herself in for you. And Cassie came and traded herself in, and then Diddy beat her to a pulp, Cassie to a pulp, all up and down the driveway. These are the people that have ended Diddy. And you can argue as to whether you think that Jane is a victim, but you only need 1 count of sex trafficking to literally take those 20 to 40 years and make it life. The forced labor. Funny thing somebody pointed out to me, I think y'all pointed out to me on live today. I literally have been like, well, I don't know if they prove forced labor, because I've been thinking, it's something like, old Pharaoh, let my people go. But in fact, the first labor actually was Mia, where she was forced to, Diddy had to pay her $400,000 in overtime when she left. That is forced labor. That is forced labor. Kat, what's up, Kat? Welcome to the family, the newest member of the Tattletales, okay? Also, where are we at? Y'all, Diddy is done. Diddy is done. Capricorn Clark ended that man. Cassie ended that. What's up, Mel? Mel, NYC Ruse that Tisa is a Wonder Woman status. Case reporting at the peak of the heat wave. Earns her gold stars. Y'all want to hear something funny? I tried to go live outside the court steps, but it was so hot. My phone only had like 6%, and it went down to 0 in less than 2 minutes. I can't even go live on the court steps. But don't worry, I'm going to make sure my whole phone is charged up for tomorrow. Mel, do you want to join this chat? Let me actually see. You know what? Hold on, y'all, because the prosecution is about to rest their case. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a special thing. I'm going to do a special thing. I am going to drop Mel, I'm dropping this for you and anybody else. I'm going to drop the call-in link and I'm going to let you guys come in and actually ask questions while I tell y'all what happened today. I'm always saying that I want a call-in link. Annabelle, you said, what a treat. T said in the afternoon. He let us out early, but the next days we're not going to be getting out till 5. Also, the defense has officially confirmed, and I don't know how true it is, the defense has officially confirmed that they were going to, it's only going to be one day. They're not going to call any witnesses, and most of it is going to be text messages they read into evidence. Why is that? I'll tell you why. Because they don't have anybody. Do you realize that if they open Diddy up to people saying about character, the government can cross-examine. They don't want the government to cross-examine anybody. So they are telling Diddy, rest your case and go into appeal. Rest your case and go into the appeal. Also, talk metaphysics with Tamala. I love talking metaphysics. Said, oh my God, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that. Listen, who said that? Helen Chuck said, hey, Tisa, why am I hearing that Diddy's side has rested? I don't know why you're hearing that. Diddy's side has not rested. Diddy's side is actually cross-examining the last summary witness and asking how come they're cross-examining the summary witness. They have not rested. They are expected to rest on Wednesday. And then both parties are going to rest on Wednesday. It's still the prosecution's witness. And then Thursday, they're both going to give their closing arguments. And the jury instructions are going to be given to the jury on Thursday. The jury will be Friday. They might even work over the weekend. Who knows? A lot of people say, and nobody knows, that if they don't come back with an early verdict, that the jury is going to try to get this wrapped up because nobody wants us going into the July 4th holiday weekend, right? Again, I was waiting for Diddy's witnesses to be torn up. But I think at this point, they're just trying to preserve it for an appeal. Now, let's get into some of the interesting things. Mel NYC Reviews. I just dropped the call-in link, Mel, if you want to come up here and co-host with me. I dropped the call-in link. For everybody else, I'm going to tell y'all what happened in court, and then you guys can ask me questions. Baby, we are going to get into deliberations. For deliberations this Friday, we are going to have a special Q&A where you guys can actually come. We're going to have a town hall on YouTube. You guys can talk, ask me questions. We can do that a little bit today, but, you know, let's just get into this. Okay, so let's get into this, right? What did they prove today? The summary witness proved unequivocally, the summary witness actually proved that this was a RICO organization. Fahim was in on it. KK was in on it. Nobody can say they didn't know. And you know Brendan, the boy that said, I haven't seen anybody be a mule. What drugs? That was personal use. They even had a bunch of text messages that little Brandon forgot to tell us about that let us know that Brendan even thought that too. That let us know that Brendan thought like Brendan was in on it too. And he knew a little bit more than he said he did, but he was in it and he knew a little bit more than what he said. All right. No, Nay Logan said that guy didn't see Rico. He just went along. Again, I don't understand why people don't understand. And I know you do, but I'm just saying the people in the back. I think it's very, very odd that people are acting like it's normal to move and ship and transport drugs for your boss across state lines and internationally. Again, and he said that he picked it up. He did a sweep of the room because Diddy was so cheap. He ain't waste rugs. Listen, we have a few people we are going to bring up in a second to ask questions. Lisa and Sandalia, we're going to bring up in a second. Mel, it is up there if you want to. I do want to say this. Diddy was so cheap. Now, listen, I would never be, and again, let me not say I would never because life can humble you. I pray to God I'm never in the situation that those victims actually were. But I don't understand how Diddy was a billionaire and had his freak-offs flying coach. He had them paying for their own Ubers. He had them paying for their own travel. He had everything, and all they had to do was beg him to get reimbursed. How do you have all that money and you never went into your pocket? Diddy, I literally was like, he was so cheap. Do you know, right? Um, okay, Mel, I got you. Do you know that Diddy actually shorted one of his sex workers? He actually shorted one of his sex workers by $600 to the point that the boss had to get involved and be like, the people, the rates are on there, stop shorting them. And Diddy had the nerve to say, he's lucky he got that. He couldn't conform. He couldn't perform. The girl that owned the thing was like, do you not know what happens? We don't pay them to perform. You're paying them for their time. Diddy said, yo, be nice to me. Right? I didn't think. The girl gave him a cut and copy paste of the website and said, you can see the rates right then and there. Anyway, hold on. Let's bring somebody up to ask a question. Lisa, how are you, Lisa?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So what question do you have while we're getting to this good recap? What question do you have?
Girl, first of all prayers to you. I hope you staying hydrated in this New York City weather because
Thank you.
it's
Thank
hot.
you. Yes, yes, yes. What questions do you have?
The question that I have, and I kind of think you and I on the same length when I ask it. The fact that he doesn't have really a defense,
Mm-hmm.
could that would actually affect whether he's guilty or not because there's no defense. There's nobody there to fight, right?
Well, here's the thing. People are trying to play it off like Diddy not having any witnesses and not mounting a defense shows how strong his position is. It's not. To me and to a lot of legal experts, it shows exactly how to me, a lot of legal experts, hold on, I'm just going to mute you for a second. It shows exactly how weak his case is. It shows to the fact of there is nobody that you can actually call to get on the stand that's not going to do more harm than good. At the end of the day, his team cannot afford anybody asking questions because all it's going to take is one question to actually pop in, and then the prosecution can go on cross and rip them apart. It's going to be too easy to walk through doors, too much thing. Again, it is not a good idea. And nobody can say that when you are mounting defense, there is no one you can have get on the stand with you because it would be bad. So, yeah, people on Diddy's side are trying to spin this as, oh my God, it's such a good thing. He's in a position of power. Look how confident he is. He is not. It does not. I don't know what they're talking about, but exactly who said that? Somebody said, not even crackhead Stevie J, not even crackhead Stevie J. Ballerina Cuero said, I would love his so called elite friends. Exactly. To come to his aid and then get cross-examined and they'll tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Not exactly. Anyway, let me bring somebody else up. Lisa, thank you so much for joining. Let me bring a few other people up. Thank you. Have a good one. Powwow 505. What before we get into the recap, what is your question?
Do you think Brandon is going to keep his deal with the feds after his testimony?
So I have to be honest with you. I 100% believe he's already gotten immunity. The thing is with Brendan, people made a big deal out of Brendan being like, I don't think he was a drug dealer. Okay, but sir, you are his drug dealer. You literally in that testimony, and I get it, everybody sees differently. But the feds got what they needed to get out of him. What did he testify to? That he arranged freak offs, that he moved drugs, that he coordinated with security, that he was dropping cash off to Diddy's place. Yeah, I know he said, looked like she was enjoying it to me, but people could say the same thing about Cassie. Again, a lot of people were expecting he would go in there and be like, that man over there, he's a horrible person. But I got to be honest with you, they got what they needed to get out of him. And he literally confirmed the RICO and the conspiracy, not from 10 years ago, but bringing it into now. And Powwow, let me just say this, because it's important for people to realize Diddy's team is trying to say that the conspiracy started in 2000 and stopped in 2019. So even if everything they said about Cassie was true, it stopped in 2019. So he shouldn't be held liable. Brendan's whole point wasn't to completely, I mean, I wish he would have, but it wasn't to completely end Diddy. It was to extend the conspiracy for Rico into 2024 into present, because there's a 5-year statute of limitations for Rico conspiracy. Again, Diddy's team even said, even if you find it's Rico, all that ish with Cassie is old. Brandon, whatever his name, made it current. So the Rico and conspiracy is ongoing. And that's why Diddy's team is truly, truly, truly upset. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the same thing, but the only thing that okay, so what stopped me from thinking that he was going to get his deal taken away from when he was saying that he didn't see nothing illegal.
That he didn't see
So
what?
anything illegal.
Well, here's the thing with him. Sometimes you gotta use common sense. I know he didn't say he didn't see anything illegal. I was sitting there saying, sir, you are the illegal thing that happened. The fact that y'all trying to convince us that moving drugs across state lines and international waters, that you got arrested for doing illegal things. Brendan was trying to save himself, much like all of Diddy's assistants. He got slavish devotion saying, right? He said that he helped set up the nights. He said that he helped bring paper bags full of cash. He said that he got caught moving drugs for Diddy. He said that he did a sweep, found and those actions, to a large part, are illegal. And the fact that Brendan said he didn't see anything illegal, I do think the prosecution did a great job of coming back and saying and playing video notes, voice notes, and also reading messages where KK and Diddy was like, yo, don't bring Brandon around. I don't want Brendan involved. Even that night that he was setting up, KK and Diddy were on the phone saying, yo, I thought you said don't bring Brendan. Don't have Brendan set up. And they was like, but there's nobody else. And that's why he got set up. So even when he said he didn't see anything, they kept you out of that mess. And the one time against their better judgment, they bought you in. Now look, you sitting up on that stand telling everything. So I get the fact that Brendan said he didn't see illegal, but it's like, Brendan, you are the illegal thing. And they were able to actually tell the story about what happened after. Now, I heard you guys in the chat saying you're hearing from other social media sites that Diddy's going to walk free. He is not. They have him. He's not. I will say this just as a final thing. You know, a lot of social media sites said that we were lying when we said that Diddy is under investigation by New York State, New York City, and New York and the feds. A lot of people said that we were lying when we said that Diddy was under, there was a grand jury that was going to be convened in order to start looking into criminal charges for Diddy. People said we were lying when we said that Diddy is going to be arrested. People said we were lying when we said that Diddy's going to try to see if he can do an apology and just move past this. My whole point of the fact is social media has been wrong every step of the way when it comes to Diddy. Why? Because Diddy's team is spending money on controlling the narrative. There's still a lot of people that want favors from Diddy, that want some of Diddy's money, that want some of whatever, okay? Social media has been going on for the longest, painting this like Diddy was going to win. Social media was the one that told us what? What did social media told us? Social media told us that Diddy was going to run an all-star campaign. Diddy was going to speak. Diddy was going to do this. Social media was the one that's like, yeah, just wait till Diddy's witnesses get up. It's going to destroy the prosecution. Social media told us that Diddy was going to have a month defense. Then it said 2 weeks. Then it said 3 to 5. And now we know the truth that nobody is going to testify. Almost no one. Actually, I think no one is going to testify. They're just going to. So when I say social media for Diddy, Diddy is the king of misinformation. He's the king of saying whatever and then doing something else. He's the king of smoke and mirrors. I wouldn't listen to social media too much about what's going on with Diddy because honestly, and if y'all been from the channel from the beginning, you'll know social media has been wrong about what's going on with Diddy every single day. And I find it odd that even when Diddy's team has a bad day, good day, whatever, y'all know, sometimes when they had a, like when Westmoreland crossed on, I was like, she was too effective. When Xavier crossed, you're like, oh, they're too effective. But my whole point of the matter is ask yourself why these people that are like pro Diddy or, oh, we're being unbiased. But y'all ain't never said Diddy had a bad day. Y'all ain't never say he got washed in court. You never looked at the indictment. You're not looking at RICO. You're literally talking about, oh, but they read messages and she said she liked it. What does that have to do with being a sex trafficking victim? You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I'm about to get into what we actually talked about, but let me just bring up a couple more questions and then we will get into it. First, let's bring up Cleo. Hello, Miss Cleo. How are you? Cleo? Cleo. Okay, Cleo's not quite ready. Let's bring up Justice. Hello, Justice. How are you?
I am good, Miss Tisa Tales, and
I'm
so loving your commentary, young lady.
glad. Thank you.
I got a question as to his statement about he found nothing to be illegal. Then why do you need immunity?
Exactly. And this is my whole point with people. I feel like the people that were so quick, because y'all all saw, like, what is it? But I feel like the people that were so quick to grab that and run with it, you're asking why someone that had to get immunity because they were part of Diddy's criminal organization thinks that there's nothing illegal going on. Let's not forget that Brendan's from a very well-to-do Midwest family. Let's also not forget that this is a stain on his family's reputation. Let's also not forget that he has a vested reason in making it seem like there was nothing going on. It was just a lifestyle. However, he needed that immunity. So I completely agree with you. If nothing illegal was going on, then why did you take the immunity deal? Because you could have said no. You could have said no and stood 10 toes down with your boss. But you couldn't because you were holding his drugs and you were moving this weight. They have Jane on testimony saying that she was a drug mule that moved things across borders and even took stuff overseas. Again, they got Diddy dead to rights. They just got that man dead to rights. And also, Miss Justice, before I drop you down, did you have any other questions?
I'm just trying to invoke thought among the chat because my question is not only did this guy not testify for Diddy, he took immunity to protect himself from a crime that does not exist. But then the defense team has not even called his child, the young men, his children, up there to give a personal reference. Why?
So
That should
here's the
stir up
thing.
something right there.
It does in a way. So here's the thing. The people that could actually go up there would be Justin and Christian because they are actually executives for Combs Global and Bad Boy Entertainment. They could not give character references, but they could say that this is the way we operated. It was not a criminal organization. We did this. If they brought in things about his character, that's the one thing the defense doesn't want because then it opens the door for prosecution to say, oh, we talk about character. Let's talk about character, right? And actually bring up some stuff. Now, interestingly enough, this is the moment I think that Diddy's team was like, don't bring up any witnesses. You remember the CFO, right? The chief financial
Hmm.
officer. And he was up there saying, Sean Combs taught me a lot. I know everything I know from business and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, I don't like this. But then Mark Agnifilio flew too close to the sun and he was like, so tell us about this man named Diddy. Do you think he's a good person? And that CEO was like, I don't know how to answer that. Mark Agnifilio, okay. Do you think he is a person you admire him? Do you think he's a and he literally sat there for 20, it felt like 20 seconds just looking like, and looking, and they got him off the stand. I think that even a CFO who had feelings that Diddy was a great businessman, feelings that he had good engagement working with them, still would not go so far as to say that he would think that Diddy was a good person. I honestly think that's when they decided, we can't have people on the stand. We cannot have people on the stand because even if you, his I feel like his assistants were slavishly devoted for him, but I also think that they think that he might beat this, and they're hoping in my mind that it can buy loyalty. But as for other
Mhm.
people that have careers in this, nobody wants to. I'm surprised KK's not testifying for him, but that's just me. That's
Mhm.
just me. Anyway, Miss Justice, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
you welcome. Okay, I will see you soon, Miss Justice. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am. Bye bye.
Hi, Cleo. How are you? What questions do you have? And then we're going to get into this stuff. What's up, Cleo? How are you? Cleo? Okay, so let's get into today what we actually learned and what is going on. So, a lot of the testimony that we heard today, okay, a lot of the testimony that we heard today, we heard on other days. The issue is with the testimony we heard today is they had it all wrapped up. They had it in a RICO bandwagon that nobody else could possibly deny. Again, when I say this is Diddy's worst nightmare, this is Diddy's worst nightmare. Now, a couple things are happening. We just want to go through it while we were in court, right? Um, Diddy's male freak off worker says he stopped hitting Cassie RAW after she allegedly gave him Kamemela. Um, did Cassie give it to you, or did Diddy give it to you? Because I don't think. Anyway, let's just get into this, right? Listen. Um. Oh, also, Diddy's defense, and this is so importantly, right? Diddy's defense is going to actually try to call out Homeland Security for focusing on his sexual escapades instead of the rising Iran conflict during their closing arguments. Now, listen, we don't know how true this is, but it sounds like something stupid Diddy would do. They said that both sides are expected to make. Actually, let's go into the TMZ. This is coming from Diddy's team with TMZ. I think it's very odd. I think it's desperate, but I think anybody that thinks that this was a show of power and that Diddy is going to be the one to do it, they are idiots. They said Diddy's defense, hey feds, Iran's the real threat, stay out of his bedroom. They said Iran may be the key to Diddy's defense in this sex trafficking trial because we're told his defense may use the growing conflict in the Middle East as a way to take a shot at the federal case against him. Our sources tell us Diddy's defense may invoke the recent conflict with Iran later this week in their closing argument. We're told the possible defense goes like this. There was a manufactured case, a bedroom policing investigated by Homeland Security Investigations. And rather than worrying about what Diddy is doing with baby oil and lube, Homeland Security Investigations should worry more about the escalating conflict with Iran. Now, can I just say something? Homeland Security Investigations is not the CIA. Why would they be worried about what's going on in Iran? They are literally Homeland Security Investigations. Our sources also tell us Diddy's defense feels they don't need to do anything but rest their case. I think they can't do anything. Tuesday, after the prosecution rests theirs, because the defense believes prosecutors haven't met the burden of proof on the charges against Diddy. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. And we're told his defense feels the prosecution hasn't done enough to make any of those charges stick. Now, here's the funny thing. Do you see how Diddy's team is literally talking about don't believe your lying eyes? Let me go through this again. 2 counts of sex trafficking by force. Okay, we can argue whether people think that Jane and Cassie are victims. Force, fraud, and coercion. 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. That is exactly what Diddy is. That is exactly what happened. While it seemed like the feds, hey, what's up, Dale? I'll bring you up in 1 second. While it seemed like the feds would have an easy time proving Diddy transported SMEX workers across state lines, we're told his defense says not so fast, saying they will pounce on testimony from male escorts who said they were not paid for SMEX, but were paid for their time and discretion. Now, here's the funny thing. They weren't paid for SMEX. But we have the text messages where Diddy told the girl from Cowboys and Angels that he shouldn't have to fit. He shouldn't have to He shouldn't have to pay the full fee, and he shorted him 600 because he couldn't perform. Anyway, they said, yes, the male escorts had sex with Cassie and Jane while Diddy watched, but the argument is Diddy was paying for their time and discretion about the whole thing, and anything sexual that happened in those rooms were between consenting adults. Closing arguments appear set for Thursday, so there's still some moving parts. Iran launched missiles at the U.S. base in Middle East. Wait, what? In the U.S. base in Middle East, which Qatar intercepted in retaliation for Trump's evolving salvo. So it'll be, oh my God. Listen, Diddy is disgusting. Listen, Diddy is vile. But the fact that they are now trying to say that when you are arranging and transporting prostitution and you are filming those acts and then you tip them afterwards. Here's the funny thing. You could have maybe got him for his time, but then you tipped him afterwards and you talked to y'all. Hold on, Dale. Dale, get up here. Dale, how are you feeling about everything?
Well, I how do I feel about everything? First of all, I was sitting here just thinking, about all the things that you were saying, and
Dale, you might want to move over just a little bit. We can't see you. What's up? Okay, now we can see you. Hey. Okay.
I can't. I just don't believe it. For 1 second. Because like, to me, it's like it's a bunch of lies going on. Like, I don't know who to believe right now, because it's like it was a flip-flop going on in the courtroom. The ladies, were lying and stuff like that. Now it's like, okay, where's the proof? Where's the proof of what happened to them, like, and stuff like that? Where's the proof? So it's like, I was like, you know what? I just don't believe in it for 1 second,
Mm-hmm.
But to me, seeing you and doing what you're doing, I'm really proud of you. Keep on doing what
thank you so much.
and
I appreciate that. Listen, Dale, I get it because I've been in the courtroom every day. I do think the prosecution has done a great job of proving. I will say this, and I kind of understand the way you're like, what really is the truth? Because honestly, on social media, there has been so much misinformation, so much misdirection, so much of what is actually, but I feel like the jurors have actually brought it home, and the prosecution did an excellent job of actually proving 75 to 83% of the charges that they have out there. And I think when we see the jury deliberation, you'll know that there's going to be a lot of evidence, because they're not just going to come in and out. They're probably going to be delivering for 5, 6, 7 days, maybe even up to a couple of weeks. We will see. But the evidence is going to come out as the jury takes more and more time to deliberate, because there's a lot of evidence. But Dale, listen, I want to thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving your opinion, because at the end of the day, we can challenge the idea and not challenge the person. But Dale, thank you so much. Okay, so we also have, hold on, y'all. And again, Dale makes a point. Dale makes a point. A lot, and this is the point I'm getting at. A lot of people are saying they don't see Rico. A lot of people are saying that they don't see the crime. But then again, a lot of people, because it's not televised like the Young Thug trial or like the Karen Reed trial, a lot of people don't realize how much they are being manipulated by media. Now, can I promise a guilty verdict? No, but I'm like pretty sure they have him dead to right on certain trials. Now, the judge did bring up something very important today, that you can find that what happens if, because Diddy's team is trying to do something funny with the jury structures. And the judge is like, okay, but what if we need to break this down, because what if there's a situation where they say, okay, we believe that you committed arson, and we believe you committed bribery, and we believe that you committed kidnapping, but we don't think it was a RICO. Now, I don't know how that could be, because you used your employees, you use your company employees and your security to help you commit it. But there is a world where they're like, okay, you did all that, but we don't think it rises to the level of we don't think it rises to the level of RICO. I think the odds of that happening are very, very small. Also, what's up, Elaine? Listen, she gave me a heads up. She said that they held a coming home party for Diddy in Harlem on 131st Street this weekend. Good luck with that. Fat Joe is next. Let me tell y'all something. Who the hell held a coming home party for Diddy? This is the craziest thing I've seen. The fact that in America, and I'm only speaking to America because I am American, that people will cling to the idea of something as opposed to what that thing really is. People are so invested in these lies Diddy sold about Black excellence and what Black billionaires look like, that people are literally having coming home parties. Why? So we can snatch up your daughter, drug your son? Why would you want this fool on the street? The fact that people are really willing to look the other way because of what somebody represents is wild to me. But when I see people doing this over this scumbag, I see why the country and why the world looks like what it does. Because at the end of the day, you can get somebody to literally sabotage themselves and destroy anything that could be a consequence to them, as long as you sell them on the emotional idea of you're part of the team, you're part of the club. Y'all want to be Team Diddy holding coming home parties instead of actually trying to get your own team. But you know what? What do I know? Also, right? Diddy's team has pretty much confirmed to TMZ that he's not going to testify. Diddy said, I don't need to testify. Let's wrap this up. They said Diddy is not going to take the stand and testify in this criminal trial because his defense team plans to rest their case Tuesday without calling one witness. Now listen, let me tell y'all something. I've watched a lot of cases and I've read a lot of books. In my life, I've never seen somebody, when it's time for them to mount their defense against charges that could send them away for life, they don't even call one witness. Now, hear me out. Maybe it's somebody pro bono. Maybe it's somebody that got the worst lawyer in the world. Diddy got some of the best, sharpest lawyers in the world working for him. Okay? It is so, the fact that people are trying to act like this is a position of power, it is not a position of power. No, Diddy does have good lawyers working for him. But again, like I said, baby, you got to do what you can with what you're given. Diddy has really, really good lawyers working for him. That still does not mean that, and the fact that you have zero witnesses and you are going to read text messages. Anyway, speaking of that, let's talk about the super chat. First of all, you guys, we have merch. We have merch. Also, let's get into this, Mel. Thank you so much for those kind words. Kat, welcome to the family. Annabelle said, what a treat. Tease in the afternoon. Talk metaphysics. Thank you so much again. Verlina Kyrgios said, I would love his so-called elite friends to come to his aid, then get cross-examined, and then tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Baby, they ain't going anywhere. Everybody's hoping the stench stays off of him. Lisa Canterbury, thank you so much for the super chat. And Mel did say, so sweet. T says, Wonder Woman status, case reporting at the peak of heat wave earns her gold stars. I was trying my best. Also, Michelle M, thank you so much for being a member. You said, hey, Tisa, do you think Diddy will face state charges from California, Florida? Interestingly enough, I think he might face state charges from New York State. Let's not forget the DA for New York State is not playing around with Diddy. California, I don't know because he seemed to run it, but you never know. I have heard rumors that Diddy actually might face state charges. Kitty Cat, welcome to the Tattletales family. And Donna W said, so what's going to happen to KK? I think KK, honestly, Donna W is going to get the Ghislaine Maxwell treatment. I think that they're going to square Diddy away. And then, because right now, D-Rock and KK are uncharged co-conspirators, I think that they're going to get Diddy out the way and prove RICO. And then they are going to be Ghislaine, whatever her name was, his bottom B. That's what she is going to end up at. I think she's going to be indicted separately. Facing Truth said, I'm late. How do I call in? There is a link to call in. Also, Lisa, thank you for sending your first super chat on the live. Holy Scarlet said, you empower us to look for the truth and speak it. Thank you, Holy Scarlet. Facing Truth said, waiting on my t-shirt and mug. Hey, T said, please keep this beautiful integrity. Diddy did all of that. Y'all, I'm always going to keep my integrity. This is why, in my mind, I still don't believe that Diddy's team had PR on the ground, because they did a horrible effing job. But at the end of the day, they really did what they could to try to silence me. They wanted to get me kicked out the courtroom. They wanted to do this. They started a YouTube campaign about how I was doxing witnesses, and look at God's glory, still here. Oh, also, I am still a regular on Nancy Grace. I'm going to be back on ABC Live and Nightline this Thursday. So check out your girl. I want to thank everybody that made a stupid video trying to get me kicked out of court. Thank you. Put me on people's radar. All right. Really quick, let me just get through these super chats and we'll bring Shaw up. Honeybee Therapy, thank you so much. William Livingston said Puffy will worry about Iran while rubbing down his new girlfriend in prison. He might actually like that. Iran, get out of here. But here's another thing that's so diabolical. This is him, right? This is Diddy also trying to kiss up to Trump. Trump is being hammered left, right, and the third over what happened between Iran. And I think he is trying to kiss up, being like, yeah, why don't you worry about blah, 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 blah. I think this is his way of kissing up to Trump. I really do. Jack Stom said, what about all the children that were there? Are they just being swept under the rug? Listen, Jack Stom, I don't know what is going on with the children. I do know that they are going out their way to have Diddy gone for life. I've gone for life. Also, really quick, Restive Life Hack said, hey girl, missed a few days ago. Mama's got to work, but I'm here with my ears wide open. Thank you for the hugs. Oh, thank you, hugs. Restive Life Hacks, thank you so much. Sin said Diddy didn't even use the Chewbacca defense. Exactly. Janine C., welcome to the Title Talks family. Whistle Down said people from the hood don't see bribery, extortion, drug deals, violence, and fraud as RICO. It's normal in their minds. They see it as survival. This is how a mantra like get it how you live it became the gospel. Now, I don't know about that, but I do know that Diddy is going out his way to act like that. It's just part of it. Miriam DBD, thank you so much for the message. Melody Buchanan said, great job, Tisa. And Miriam DBD said the YSL trial had no defense and they were not guilty. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Miriam. And that's actually a good point. The only problem is the YSL trial had a lot of issues. You were dealing with a corrupt prosecution. You were dealing with charges that were flimsy. You were dealing with the fact that they really were moving out here grimy. You were dealing with a case that is not Diddy. This has been above board. It has been the prosecution. I get it. Brian Steele is an incredible lawyer, but he is ineffective here because he only knows how to work with dirty DAs and dirty judges that were having ex parte meetings, trying to throw people in contempt of court. That trial was dirty. YSL rested their defense because the prosecution had to settle to make sure that there wasn't a federal indictment into Fulton County. So I don't think it's the same thing. I don't. And to treat it like that, I feel like it's a huge, huge, huge mistake. I feel like it's a huge, huge mistake. You know what? Let's bring Shaw up here. Hey, Shaw, how are you? Is it Shaw or Shay? Shay? Oh, she's frozen. Let's bring somebody else up. Maria. Hey, Maria. How are you? Hey, what's up, Maria? How can I help you? What questions do you have?
I don't have any questions, Tisa. I just wanted to give you some encouragement. I just love you. I've been around. I've been watching you. I do want to say this. I love that the dealer is going to hell.
He is, and he's taking it on himself. And all these people, nobody is surrounding him, and everybody's saying, oh, what about his friends? He's going to take the fall. Diddy can open his mouth anytime he wants, but he won't. He won't. He's staying quiet for Clive Davis. He's staying quiet for Jimmy, whatever. He's staying quiet so his kids can have some money after he's gone. I think that's why he's staying quiet.
It doesn't matter because what you do, your children are going to pay for anyways. So they got to go.
Which is a shame because his kids seem like very well-mannered, nice children. It actually is like such a shame, you know?
But they were born into a hell situation. Yeah. I mean, they don't have any. You know how they say what you do, your children or your children's children will pay. So
Yeah.
that's what that. But anyways, what I wanted to say is that I really love your all your communication that you have with us. I'm always on chat whenever you're live. I
Yeah.
love the community, and I love keep what you're doing.
Oh,
I
thank
just
you so much.
I really appreciate all of the information, and I can't
Yeah.
wait till you get back to the Brits.
Oh, listen, I'm going to go back there today. I'm going to drop a video in your honor, okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, also, we have Lola. Lola, what's your question? Oh, really quick before you give the question, Cozy Rose said, do Demora Hatley v. Rock Nation CEO lawsuit? It is big. All right, I'm going to try to get on it. Castra 317, thank you so much for the super chat. This is your 5th one. Also, Jarquisha Kingdom said, Jarkeisha Kingdom said, hey, Tisa, him being abandoned is in 2 Timothy 4:16. I believe that too. Diddy is now reaping what he sows. But you know what? Lola, get in here. What can we? Oh, and Melanie Buchanan said, great job. He said, thank you. Lola, what are you thinking about this? Lola? Okay, Lola's not exactly here. Let's go to Shay. Hi, how are you? Is it Shay or Shaw?
It's can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Sha. Hi, what's your question?
Okay. It was going out. But anyway, first I wanted to tell you I love you. I found you on accident and I can't stop watching you. You're gorgeous and I love your personality.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
when it comes
that.
to here.
Yeah, you're still here. You're still good.
Okay. When it comes to Diddy, it amazes me that there's no proof. I don't know if they haven't been watching the trial from the beginning to the end, but I mean, if you can't see a RICO, if you can't see Smex trafficking, if you can't see all these things, I mean, it's in text messages, it's in his people, his whole enterprise. I mean, it is very apparent. So I feel like the people that don't want to see him guilty just don't want to see him guilty, but the proof is there.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm gonna have to return to Whistle Down's I'm gonna have to return to Whistle Down's comment where he, she, them, they. I don't know. I don't want to disrespect you with your pronouns, but again, you're touching on what they touched on. People from the hood don't see bribery, extortion, drug deals, violence, and fraud as RICO. It's normal in their minds. They see it as survival. This is how a mantra like "get it how you live it" became the gospel. Now, again, I will not go so far and say that people in the hood don't see. I will say, to Whistle Down's point, people that are around Diddy don't see that as anything. Again, we saw what Brendan sitting there saying, I don't think he was a criminal, while you are on, like you had to get immunity because you were doing criminal stuff for your boss. So it's really, really crazy when you think about that. Marcus. Hi, Marcus. How are you? Welcome.
Good, Tisa. How you doing? Good to see you.
Very good.
Appreciate you all you doing and everything. I just got a couple quick questions for you, if you don't
Yes.
mind.
I'll go to you first.
Keep hearing YouTubers, I guess they're talking about the jury, and they're talking about their. I'm guessing this is what I'm guessing. Diddy's strategy is his and his team is watching the jury and seeing who, but you don't know that. At the, just like what you've been saying all day, you
Yeah.
don't know that and whatnot. And yeah. Unfortunately, it's gonna go down for him because he's worse than R. Kelly. All jokes aside,
Yes.
I'm a former police officer myself, and
Okay.
I've seen the government prove a couple of
Mhm.
charges that they put on involving the RICO, and
Okay.
I just don't see how he's gonna get past that
Well,
and
why don't you tell
whatnot.
us about that? So you've seen like RICO on the state level and maybe even on a federal level.
Right.
What do you think that it's just like you said, when you're used to working at RICO cases and how easy it is to prove it, that a lot of people think there needs to be bodies in the ground and blood
Right.
everywhere. And you're like, no, it literally is you doing more than 2 crimes
Right.
and the government catching you doing it.
Right. Now, I
Yeah.
mean, in the past it has been kind of, you know, weird to get someone of his caliber, his and R. Kelly caliber. But what
Mhm.
they did is tie that thing up, man. I'm gonna tell you uh um two people you don't mess with is the feds and IRS, of course. But you
And
know,
I would even
I'm
go so
telling you,
far to say
man.
the IRS. The IRS
Ah,
is just like,
yes, it's thesis. It's hard
yeah,
to even think that they're gonna beat the feds, because they're gonna keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And
yeah,
and like I said, I am not gonna lie. I'm 51 and I grew up, you know, being a fan of his and whatnot. Um, you know, a lot of this stuff has turned my stomach because I have two daughters, you know, listening and
yeah.
watching the case the whole nine. So you know, when you make that bed, you gotta lay in it.
You gotta lay in
Yeah,
it,
you
and it's
gotta
true
lay in it.
because
But yeah, it's, you know,
yeah,
they laid it out to me. They laid it out pretty self-explanatory. It was some iffy witnesses, but for the most part, they were, to me, they were pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. It's not easy getting on that stand,
mhm.
talking in front of a whole courtroom
Yes,
and reliving something that happened 5 to 10 to 15 years ago. That's hard.
that's
And if anybody don't
humiliating
think
and
that is, they're
important.
lying to you. They're
Yeah,
lying. That's a hard thing to do. So I
yeah,
kudos to any of them that got on that stand and told their truth. Um,
exactly.
but
And it was
what is it?
great. Go on.
What is this? Before I let you go, what is this? What is Rule 29? I heard a YouTuber saying that, said that they're gonna use.
So Rule
Yeah,
29 is you
yeah.
have to make a motion for summary judgment.
Hmm.
So basically, Rule 29, it's all procedure.
Right,
Basically,
right.
it's saying that we want this dismissed before
Hmm.
we even mount our defense, because based off of what they've seen, there's no reason a reasonable person under the circumstances could actually find that we were guilty. But more
Right.
importantly, that'll never be done, but it's procedure. Because if you
Gotcha.
want to make a motion to dismiss, if you want to make a summary motion to dismiss, you have to do it at certain times. Remember, we always talk about the law is about
Right, right.
rules, right?
Uh-huh. Right,
So
right.
if you want to drive to the market, you got to get your keys, get in the
Hmm.
car, turn the car on, make a
Hmm.
thing. There's certain things that if you do, like, for instance, the way they're like, objection, objection.
Hmm.
They're not just doing it to get a thing. They're doing it so at the end, when it's looking at appeal, you have to
Right.
show that you made a motion. If you don't make a motion now, you can't
Hmm.
make one at the end. So they're
Gotcha.
basically following all these goalposts. It doesn't mean that they think they're going to win.
Gotcha.
But you have to do it if you want another bite at the apple. So this is why he's paying it. A lot of younger lawyers don't even realize that you need to do a Rule 29 right now
Hmm.
if you also want to dismiss after you've put on your case. So they ask to dismiss now, it's going to be rejected, and they're going to ask to dismiss before it goes to jury,
Hmm.
right? And
Right,
then,
right.
of course, they're going to try to get the appeal. So it is what it is, you
Gotcha.
know?
Yeah,
That's
they're screaming
what
that in the streets. That they're screaming that Rule 29. He's gonna get out on that, and he's getting out this week. And I'm sitting here like, these people are, they're freaking loony, man. But it's
they
all
are
good. I get it.
losing.
To each his own. Hey, I don't have
Yeah,
to agree, but I respect your opinion. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
yeah.
But you know. But
Well,
anyways, listen.
yes.
You stay safe out there and keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud
Oh,
of you.
thank you so much. I
All right.
appreciate that. And thank you
Yes,
for your
ma'am.
insight. Thank you
No
for your
doubt.
insight,
Yes,
Marcus.
ma'am. Much love.
All right. Much
Uh
love
huh.
to you too.
All right.
So this is an interesting thing he brought up. They are literally, it's kind of like, people don't understand, but like how Marcus, you can come into a court of law and ask for anything. I can sue you and come into the court of law and be like, I want them to have a death penalty. It doesn't mean you're going to get it. Again, Diddy might have gotten outsmarted. He spent his whole life launching social media campaigns. And now this is something that social media cannot save that fool from. Also, Castra 317, thank you again. And this is your fifth super chat. Extine Mac, thank you for the super chat. This is your first one in the live stream. And Lori, aka Lolo, welcome to the Tattletales fam. Sal said, thank you, Tisa, from England. I can't wait to see you do. Yeah, can't wait to see you do a Diddy's going to jail dance. We're gonna do a praise dance. And Miriam, thank you so much, Sal. And Miriam said they're not putting on a defense because it could open up too many doors, especially during the cross. Tactic is not the crash and burn. Great reporting. Exactly. I completely agree with you, Mariama DVD. However, I do want to say, right? I do want to say that this is in stark contrast to everything that we have heard in the media about why Diddy doesn't want to mount a defense. T-Ray, how are you?
Hello, how
T-Ray?
are you?
Hi, T-Ray, how are you?
Good, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, we can hear
Perfect. I
you.
love you, by the way.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I just wanted to ask, do we know if Diddy has run out of money?
So that's interesting that you asked. Has Diddy run out of money? So Diddy is the only, I think, income he has coming in right now is his private plane that he is renting out. Diddy has a problem with liquid assets. This is common with rich people. You know, they own a lot of stuff, but you need the money to maintain it. Diddy has liquefied his assets. His lawyers are literally costing him through the nose. He is in this 6-week trial. And also when he got arrested, it's been estimated he has gone through 20 or 22 million just on his lawyers. And this is not counting the appeal. But when you say, did he run out of money? His biggest issue is, and this is a big one, the federal forfeiture. As much as Diddy's people are hollering and hooting, every single thing they've accused Diddy of, they have tied it to the company. They have tied it to them using his company funds for doing A, for doing B, for doing B, and it was all paid out by Combs Global. Let's just say that Diddy's not convicted of the sex trafficking. Let's just say he's only convicted of the RICO for bribery, kidnapping, this and that. It's still federal forfeiture, and the government is going to come in and seize all of his assets. And I think that is what scares Diddy even more than going to jail. You know, the government will come in and seize all his assets. Again, he's fighting for that pardon. I don't think that pardon is coming down. I don't see how Trump is going to give him a pardon now that all that stuff's going on overseas. I just don't see how this could happen. But that said, the president don't give a damn about anything or anyone. So we will see what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, literally.
Exactly. Well, I wanted to tell you that I have been following you for a while. I love you. I'm going to join.
Oh,
once I get a new job, but I'm in biotech. So anybody out there in biotech, hit T-Ray up for some opportunities. But you are beautiful. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope you and Nancy Grace get your own show.
Oh, thank you so much, T-Ray. I very much appreciate that. And shout out to the women in biotech. You making us proud. Thank you, T-Ray.
Yes, honey, women in STEM. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you,
Bye,
T-Ray.
guys.
Bye-bye. And I think we'll bring Felicia up. Hi, Felicia. How are you?
Oh my God. Hi, Tisa. I didn't think you were
bring
going to
Lori,
pick me.
a.k.a. Lolo. Hey, how are you, Felicia?
God bless you, girl. You're a 53-year-old YouTuber. I can't believe you got me on YouTube, Mom.
Oh, thank you.
Let me tell you, I ran into you by chance, Mom. Let me tell you, by freaking chance. And you know what? You are amazing. God bless you. For real.
Thank you so much.
I was sending you notes out there today. Drink water, drink water. You had me scared, Mom.
Listen, I actually went in and got some water. I don't even like drinking water. I even had to pick up Poland Spring. Like, it is hot. It is hot.
Ay, mi madre. But let me ask you, I have a question for you.
Yes.
With this Kanye stuff, so I didn't realize, until you told us earlier, that Kanye and Diddy really don't like each other that much. Mm-hmm. So you think that he was going there like to make it worse for him, showing up in court?
I'm not gonna lie. I think it's funny that the only listen, Kanye's being sued for being a jerk. He's being sued for being a weirdo. But oddly enough, but this girl like Lori Periotti, I'm saying her name wrong, but her name is Lauren, whatever. She used to work with Diddy. Diddy invited Kanye and her over to a party in Diddy's studio. And from that party, Kanye caught a case from that. Now, listen, I'm not saying that dirtbag didn't do it. I'm saying that I thought it was odd that in June 2024, when she could have put Diddy's name on the lawsuit too, she chose not to. And some people are saying that maybe that's the reason why Kanye was showing up for Diddy and doing the least when he was showing up, because they had something over him. Because at the end of the day, Kanye and Bianca are involved in that freak lifestyle. He doesn't need any more problems. Maybe they're holding something over his head. Not saying he didn't do it. Now, what it's Kanye and Diddy not getting along. They haven't gotten along since Kim and Diddy linked up to try to end Kanye when Kanye lost his billions the first time. At this point, he's lost it so many times. They
Poor
always
baby.
had his feet. Yeah, and it's made me actually think when Kanye shows up, he always makes things worse for Diddy. And it makes me think that maybe they do have something over his head, but at the end of the day, he wants to see Diddy go down. So when he says something about Diddy, he makes an anti-Semitic rat and then be like, oh yeah, and I'm selling Sean John tank tops, right? He comes out in like literally a black leather Klans outfit, head to toe, talking about, yeah, I'm collaborating with Christian Combs.
Well, you know what got me? The fact that he showed up in court in all white.
Yes.
Like the freak off in fucking white. Like, what's wrong with
He
you?
showed up in court in all white, but he was only there for 30 minutes and then he rolled out and we haven't seen him since. It's almost like they're pulling his leash, and for whatever reason, he feels like he has to show up, but he is being a Gemini and sabotaging Diddy. It's just a little theory that me and my friend Al were sitting there talking about. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition. But yeah, I think there is no love between Kanye or
the whole world has turned their backs on him, and he deserves it. I mean, granted, I know he wasn't doing it alone, but you know what? You got to start bringing somebody down. If they brought Epstein down, bring him down and anybody else that's in the mix. That's what I say. Yep. But in the meantime, I know you got to talk to everybody, and I wanted to show you a selfie. But since I don't got a selfie, everybody get this. I want everybody to get your book. I got my beautiful mug.
Come here. If you see me at the courthouse, snatch me up and I'll be like, okay, let's have a photo shoot. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me put you on the big screen. Show everybody your mug.
And the mug is gorgeous. This is the most beautiful mug.
Thank you. Look at this. Oh, thank you for supporting.
I got the girlfriend. And you know what? I like the inside because instead of lines, it's like these cute little dots and stuff. It's jazzy.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Felicia. Thank you.
God bless you. I wish you all the best. And every time you're on, let me tell you, I am there. I'm a paralegal. I work for a law firm. I've been in the law firm business for over 30 years. And I be working and typing, and then I have the phone on the right side at the bottom where nobody sees it, and all I'm doing is just listening to you.
Yes, putting the hair to the side, like, yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Felicia. And
you
if
too,
I see you in the courthouse, please come say something, okay?
I will. And the same to Bay. Tell Bay thank you. I sent her a shout out earlier. You got someone good standing by you. Definitely.
Yes,
and God bless your honey for taking care of you, your partner. Bless him.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And he appreciates that too. Thank you, Felicia. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, also, I do want to let you guys know that as much as Diddy supporters are saying it's a bigger conspiracy, is this and that, Diddy is choosing to keep his mouth shut so that his kids won't be blacklisted from the industry and can maybe still get some payouts from the own thing. Diddy can speak up. Diddy can say what he knows. He can bring everybody around him down. He is choosing silence. And the fact that people are trying to say this is some type of noble or he's scared, get out of here. Lori.
Hey. How you doing, Tisa? How are you? I am doing well. Listen, you are doing the God's work. You have been amazing in covering this because you've been bringing updates like the normal YouTubers just can't get. And so we appreciate it. You're doing amazing. But I wanted to talk to you about whether or not Kiki is going to skip the country, for one, because she's got to know that she's going to be going down, like you said, like Giselle did. And she knows so much. I think with Diddy and them not putting on any witnesses, I think that was a stunt.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. To try to make the judge, well, that's judge, but the jury think, oh, I'm good. I'm not scared. I'm not worried, even though he should be, because he's definitely, going down. All of this stuff was proven. The RICO, the trafficking, all of that was proven. And I think that in a sense, them doing this, he can come back later and try to appeal and say he had bad legal advice. Oh, I didn't get to testify.
Exactly. You see his game.
I see it.
You see him coming. Diddy thinks that he is somehow going to beat this. I will say though, I want to see the meltdown because, like you said, he's choosing not
Mm-hmm.
to name any names. I
Right.
do think, and this is just my instinct, I want to see what Diddy's going to do and who's he's going to name when he finally realizes that he's not going to beat this thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think he is still manifesting. I think he's still trying to be like whatever. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
what happens when he realizes he's not going to beat this thing
I
and
think
see
that
how
once
much
he,
that starts leaking.
yeah, and once he realizes it, I think that he's going to start trying to trade names to, knock years off. We see it in the TV shows and all, but it
Yes.
does happen in real life, if they can bring someone bigger down. And I feel like maybe in a sense he was trauma bonding with people. Because he brought Cassie into a part, and he
Mhm.
was he went through trauma that we think when he was
Mhm.
younger,
Yes.
and him bringing other people in and trying to bring them down, and make them feel as bad as the things he went through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
He had a gift, which
hmm,
honestly, I remember I was talking to what's her name? I forget her name. He had a gift that people that were broken somehow
right,
flocked toward him. And all he had to do, because he clearly had a gift, was,
hmm,
and I think the gift was to pour into people and build people up. And instead,
right,
he decided to start taking and stealing people's life and
yeah,
feeding off of them like vampires. And I think it's
absolutely,
finally catching up to him. I don't think that karma is like this thing that just rolls through the universe looking to give justice, but I do
right,
think it's the natural consequence of all your actions finally catching up to you. His cheapness,
exactly,
his arrogance, his evil, the way that he loves to break people instead of like using the gift that he was clearly blessed with to pour
right.
in and uplift. So
That manipulation, that
the
narcissism,
manipulation, the
it
narcissism.
is showing so hard. And I think the way he's showing the jury by sitting there smirking, doing all these things, that the jury they're clocking him too.
Yeah. But
I can't
know,
even, go ahead.
they
I'm sorry.
are clocking him too, but but you know what? There's enough jurors that are that look like they are where we're at. That
Right.
even if there are a few holdouts, they
Mm-hmm.
are, because nobody wants a hung jury. They're
Mm-mm.
going to sit there and be like, no, let's look at the evidence. Let's do this. Let's do that. So
Right.
it's always a good thing.
Can you imagine? I can't even imagine what they saw on these so-called freak off tapes. That I know that a couple of them were really disgusted. So I think that it's not going to be a hard stretch for
Yeah,
him to finally realize that it's over with. And
exactly.
it's very sad. It's very sad because, like you said, he could have uplifted so many of our
Yes,
people, young people, and he chose to use his narcissism to control and manipulate. And now, eventually, like you said, karma doesn't roll around looking for people.
exactly.
Eventually, it had to come out. Everything in the dark generally comes to the light, and so many broken people. Now, you think Young Miami is going to be maybe hit with something, or
No, I honestly don't. Young Mammy seems like she doesn't have anything to do. I do agree with you that KK is going to get the same Maxwell treatment. They're wrapping up
Mhm.
the head, and once
Right.
they have the head, all the little arms, the tentacles are going to go down. I truly believe, just even based off the testimony, that Young
Mhm.
Miami was firmly in the love bombing stage.
Ah, okay,
And I think
yeah.
she was telling the truth when she said he ain't show me that type of thing. I think that he was trying to do a Cassie and lock her.
Right.
He was trying to do a Cassie because everybody's thing is he was trying to do a Cassie and lock
That
Young Money
love
together.
bombing.
The love
Mhm.
bombing. So again, she got out just in time. She
She
got out
did.
just
I
in.
hope that she didn't,
Yeah.
receive any of that hard thing, because I think I heard
Yeah.
somewhere that he did do something to her at one point,
Yeah.
because Saucy Santana is starting to speak out.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's starting to
Oh,
speak out about how he was going to tell everything that he knew. And so I don't know. I think that eventually Diddy's gonna try to have his say that his lawyer, he had inept lawyers
counsel.
and
Yeah.
legal advice, and
Yeah.
he's gonna try to appeal as much as he can, but yeah, he's not gonna make it through here, and I think that's good. Next will be Tyler Perry,
Yeah.
and it's just so many of them that fall into that. But as a friend of mine says, these are rich people problems,
Yes,
but
he did. And we don't want none of them. Even
we don't
though
want none of those
we don't want any of that.
at
Listen,
all.
Yeah,
But
Lolo,
thank
thank you
you.
so much for stopping by. It's so nice to hear your voice.
Absolutely. It's a
All the time.
pleasure.
It's
Listen, so we'll talk again soon. I wish you
yes,
well. You stay safe out there. Stay out that heat. Watch the heat and drink your
yes.
water, young lady. Okay.
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna
Okay
do my best.
now.
Lolo, thank you so much. I hope to
Thank
have
you,
a talk with you
sweetie.
soon. Okay.
Absolutely. I'll get my merch soon. You have a good day. Everybody have a great day and get your merch. Bye, guys.
Yes, bye, Lolo. Facing Truth, how are you doing?
Well, hello, Miss Tisa.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. How about you?
I am doing good. What questions do you have today?
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to let you know my mug just came today. I'm just waiting on my shirt now.
Yes, we love to
Yes.
see it. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We've been rocking together for a minute. I'm like hearing your
Yes.
voice is like, oh, nice.
Yes.
What's going
Yes.
on?
So, so I'm doing well. So first of all, again, I definitely want to just thank you, Tisa, for your integrity.
Oh, thank you.
You and a couple more YouTubers are the truth. And I appreciate, or I can say we appreciate, and we totally respect you. Thank you for standing 10 toes down on the diddler and all of his
Oh,
likeness.
thank you.
And I pray for peace and blessings upon you and everybody that's listening.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, you guys make it so easy that I don't understand why it's not like we have a community where we see what it is and we're just like, you got to get this out of here. You can't have people like this running around amok. We're actually saving Diddy before he get a life sentence because he's going to hurt somebody, a woman one day really, really bad. You know, the way
If
you beat on people, there's just no way that you couldn't, you know?
if he hasn't already, a
If he
part
isn't ready.
I pray every single day, for God's will to be done and that, all lies be revealed. That's part of
Yeah,
my name, Faith and Truth, that all lies be revealed and that the voices and the stories for the unspoken that are dead, that
yeah,
have passed away, that their stories be told. He did all of that.
yeah.
And it's time for him and all of his likeness to be held accountable. And, I just feel like society is trying to protect this monster, but people don't care about things until it happens to their loved ones. But Tisa, I
Exactly.
just thank you, girl. I just thank you and stay
Oh, thank
fabulous, okay?
Oh, thank you so much. It was so nice to hear your voice and meet you. I really,
Yes,
really
ma'am.
do appreciate you facing truth. I really, truly appreciate you. Thank you so
Thank
much. Thank you for the prayer and blessings.
yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So listen, also really quick, I just want to say thank you to Sharina Wilson said always strange when folks say Diddy shouldn't be on trial because many others are doing the same thing. Well, justice must start somewhere to put a stop to these depraved lifestyles. I know that's right. Mitchie Music said, watch. Oh, thank you. Watch you as much as possible. You're a talented young lady. Just a small token. God bless. God bless to you too. And Bonita Howard, thank you for being a member for 15 months. She said, hi, Tisa. Great job. Keep up the amazing work you're doing. Oh, also, you guys, don't forget, I'm going to be on Nancy Grace all week and I'm going to be back on ABC. Woo! But I'll let y'all know that tomorrow. Marie Phillips or Mary Phillips said, hi, Tisa. I know you said you don't really like coconut oil, but I recently learned that mosquitoes can't bite through the oil to get to us. Okay. Okay, listen, I do not like coconut oil, but guess what? Mama is going to be slathered in coconut oil all day and night. These mosquitoes, Mary or Mary? Mary or Mari? Miss Phillips, I appreciate this. Thank you so much for the intel. Thank you. Always also muy inteligente. Welcome to the Titles family. And just hope one, you said, I'm so proud of you. Thank you guys so much. And Alejandro Aranada Peoples, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate all of you. And just hope, thank you for being a member for 1 month. Okay, so listen, you guys. I got a lot of other videos to make. I got to go research. I do think that during deliberations, I'm pulling up my oldie but goodies lives with a lot of funny information so we can have a kiki. I am going to be having panels so we can talk to the experts, body language, lawyers, people in the courtroom. I'm going to have panels so you guys can actually hear from the people, and we are going to do this. In any case, you guys, thank you so much for joining. I'll try to go live later on. If not, look for some videos I'll talk to y'all later. And in the meantime, you can let everybody on social media saying that Diddy is going to jail with 6 L's behind it. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.